Sid and Hannah were watching television after having woken up. Hannah recovered from her ankle injury. The siblings looked through some channels to find a channel they liked equally, either music, animated shows they watched when they were younger, amongst others. Found anything yet? Sid asked Hannah. Nah, not nothing, Hannah replied. Looking further, they came across the news. They wanted to skip, but they had to watch it again in case if there was any other corrupt toy on the loose. A legless doll is going rampant. Witnesses claim that she crawls on walls and extends strands of red hair out of her head to attack her prey, the news reporter said. Sid and Hannah widened their eyes in shock before exchanging looks with each other. Doesn't that recall something personal? Sid sparked, breaking the silence. Hannah wanted to answer, but she didn't respond with a yes. Instead, she nodded weakly. The legless figure was last seen crawling through the meadows of the Tri-County area. This known footage has been caught on camera, the reporter spoke again. Perhaps we should ask someone living near these fields for help, Hannah thought. Instead of leaving in the dark, we'll leave at the sunset this time, Sid planned. Well, that sounds much better, Hannah replied with a smile. 4:25 p.m. Sid and Hannah had packed their usual gear again, ready to find somebody to help them with their quest, find more scattered army men, and hunt down the legless doll. Let's find some help and hunt down that monster, Sid assured. The siblings then walked out of the house to the meadows to complete their quest. 5:15 p.m. The siblings made it to a field with a tire swing tied to a tree. Sorry, little goof there. This is where Andy died. He was there about 9 years ago, but he was supposedly taken to be buried, Sid spoke, pointing to the ground he and Hannah were standing on. I see. How did they find him? Hannah asked. I have no idea, Sid pondered. Hannah looked straight ahead and found a woman with auburn hair sitting near a tree and a stack of leaves. Hey, how about we ask this woman over here? Come on, she spoke. Sid and Hannah walked up to the big tree to talk with the woman. The female was looking at a book of sketches she drew, whilst looking at the sunset. Excuse me, Hannah asked, catching the woman's attention. Oh, hello there. How did you find me? The female asked. Well, we were looking for someone in this meadow to help us on a quest, Hannah responded. I don't know about this quest, the female responded. What's your name? Oh, I'm Hannah. And this is my brother Sid, Hannah introduced, pointing to Sid behind her. What's up? Sid spoke. Well, nice to meet you. My name is Emily. I'm an artist with Italian blood, the female spoke back. Well, nice to meet you, Emily. Glad we've asked you. We heard on the news that there's this legless doll whose hair can stretch out like an octopus's arms. My goodness, that's awful, Emily gasped. Would you like to see some of my paintings to get your minds off this figure? Sure, we don't mind, Sid answered. Emily showed one of her sketches, a blue flower between asphalt. Oh, it's so beautiful, Hannah sighed. What's the context for this painting? Well, it makes me feel happy in the flowers of the asphalt. In the cobalt skies, there is a sense of me. Yet, I feel like I am in dreams at the bottom of crying on days of silence. There is a sense of me. Hannah felt touched, whereas Sid was confused. Not only do I have a thing for art, but I also love poetry, Emily said with a chuckle. Ooh, interesting, Hannah sighed. Also, I found some 5 army soldiers that were barely hidden in those leaves, Emily revealed as she picked up and brandished for more 5 soldiers. More soldiers! Sweet! Guess we didn't have to look for them, eh, Han? Sid smirked slyly. Yeah, chuckled Hannah awkwardly. Perhaps you'd like to have a cup of tea for the last few hours back in my old house? I thought I'd look after it since my parents are away for a whole week vacation, knock myself out for it, Sid snocked with a grin. 6:30 p.m. Sid, Hannah, and Emily had driven to Emily's old house. It was only 15 minutes away from the big tree with a tire swing. So, you like the tea? Asked Emily. Yes, my mom used to drink this kind of tea before she died, Hannah spoke. Your mother died? My goodness, I'm so sorry, gasped Emily. Hey, don't stress. Hannah and I learned to live independently the day after she died, Sid interrupted to reassure Emily. Anyway, how old are you? I'm about 52 years old, yet I look like I never aged at all, Emily laughed. Hannah chuckled awkwardly at Emily's statement. Emily then grabbed her sketchbook off the shelf to show the Phillipses another painting. This time, she brandished a draft of a redhead female in a plain shirt, blue jeans, green eyes, and ruby lips. She was looking towards a tree. It's currently a work in progress, but I promise I will finish it, Emily said. It's okay, take your time, said Sid. Decades ago, when I was younger, my mom told me a story that I used to own a doll with red hair that I loved very much. I didn't remember what her name was, but she assured me that I loved her very much. I think I gave her away when I was about 17, Emily told and pondered. Hannah and Sid became confused, then immediately worried as they exchanged glances. May you excuse us for a minute? Sid asked, faking a smile. Emily nodded, not minding at all. Sid and Hannah then stepped up from their chairs to converse in the bathroom. With the door closed, they began to whisper. That's the same doll that was discussed on TV this morning, Hannah spoke. How will we confess this to Emily? I don't want to upset her or anything, Sid argued, about to stress himself out. No, let's not. Until further notice, we must keep it a secret, Hannah hissed, trying to calm Sid down. You sure? What if that doll raids the house? Sid asked. I believe she's not going to. As long as we hide in the house, that doll can't find us, Hannah whispered again. Sid let out a deep breath before exhaling, finally having calmed down. Okay, I'll just keep my mouth shut for the remainder of the afternoon, he whispered. Hannah nodded with a smile before the siblings exited the bathroom. So, what were you talking about? Emily asked. Oh, we were talking about our respective crushes, Sid lied, chuckling and smiling awkwardly. Hannah looked at him in embarrassment, but she lied with him too. Yeah, that. She grinned awkwardly too. Perhaps I can show you my old room? Asked Emily. Definitely, Hannah replied. Hannah and the Phillips siblings walked Emily and the Phillips siblings walked through the corridor and found her very old room. Emily began to narrate how this room had changed over the years. One of my earliest memories in this room was that I had a lot of cowgirl stuff. I had horseshoe decals, a hobby horse, and, my memory's not the best, and then all of that Western stuff was replaced by pop stuff. I grew an interest in a lot of bands, such as the Lemurs and the Burtones. Man, those were fun times. Sid began to feel a shiver down his spine, and his heart raced fast. Sid, are you okay? Emily asked with concern. I'm fine. I often get the feeling as if we're being watched, he stammered. Hannah looked at him with concern. At the moment, a light in the room suddenly flickered off. What the hell? Sid questioned. What happened? Emily questioned also. Sid began to feel a presence somewhere in the room. He heard the sound of hands stepping on the walls. Hannah panted heavily, as if she was going to have a panic attack. At that moment, a lamp in the bedroom bed switched on, concerning the three humans. Looking around, Sid grew from suspicion to impatience. Who the hell is in here? I demand you to show your face, he growled. After hearing that, a figure crawled from one side near the doorway. That doll was Jessie. She lost most of her hair, aside from a few strands. She still had that rip in her arm. The fabric of her cowgirl clothes was slightly charred, and in contrast to Woody, who had no arms, she was missing her legs. You're the devilish doll who raided the meadow! Hannah snapped, pointing at her. Oh, why, yes, I am, Jessie snickered. How did you come back? Sid asked sourly. Jessie grinned, before giving out a minor chuckle. Oh, let's not ask any questions, shall we? Emily's eyes widened, seeing Jessie for the first time in decades. You look familiar, Emily whispered. Jessie made contact with Emily back, finding her former owner, all grown up. Emily? Is that you? Asked Jessie in awe. Emily slowly approached Jessie as if she was going to give her a hug. Emily, what are you doing? Hannah hissed, worried for the 52-year-old woman. Get away from her, she's crazy, Sid hissed her. Jessie's face of bewilderment slowly faded into a smile as Emily slowly marched towards her. You look beautiful, Jessie whispered. The auburn-haired woman smiled back as she reached her hand out to the now corrupted doll. Suddenly, Jessie's remaining strands of hair sprouted on ends as she grinned viciously. Emily's smile snapped to the look of fear once she saw her former favorite toy turn against her. The remaining strands of Jessie's hair began to elongate, shocking the three humans. Two strands of hair grabbed Emily around the throat, strangling her. Why the hell did you give me away, Emily? Jessie screamed. You gave me up for what? Lipstick? Nail paint? Hairbrushes? Jessie, please! I only forgot about you after my friend gave me makeup for my 13th birthday! It's not like I threw you out on purpose! Choked Emily, feeling that demented cowgirl's hair crushing her windpipe. Shut up! You gave me 45 years of depression! Now I will give you the same fate! Jessie snapped, continuing to strangle the 52-year-old woman. Jessie, please, Emily sobbed as her eyes welled with tears, still choking. Jessie strangled her even harder, determined to kill her former owner who gave her up for makeup. Jessie used another strand of her hair to control into one of the drawers. She then grabbed out a nail file, which Emily may have forgotten in her youth, before she stabbed her in the thigh with it, strong enough to cut through her pants. Emily screamed in agony as she felt the blade of the file grind into her leg. Jessie smiled evilly, having the entertainment of seeing Emily suffer. Until she was tackled by a defensive Sid who held her down. Hannah, you take care of Emily. I'll take on that psychotic bitch, he snarled. Sid and Jessie wrestled as the former went running down the hallway to eliminate her. I'll call an ambulance, Hannah reassured as she laid Emily down on the bed. Jessie used her hair again, making her strands form into a fist, punching Sid. Another hand formed into a human's hand to slap him across the face. You can't destroy us, garbage boy! We are immortal! Jessie cackled. Sid grabbed her by her remaining hair strands and swung her around like a lariat before she threw her against a window, shattering the glass. Sid frantically looked around for a way to get rid of her before he spotted an empty black box and tape. He grinned smugly at that thought. Once outside, Sid found Jessie crawling on the walls of Emily's old house before trapping her under the box, putting on the lid at the moment before she escaped, and taped it shut. Get me out of here! I can't breathe! Jessie yelled from inside the box. He then looked for a place to get rid of the red-haired madwoman before he found a nearby pond. He threw her into the lake and the box floated away into the forest. Hasta la vista, deranged bitch, he said with a smirk. 7 p.m. Hannah had called the ambulance and they came to take Emily away. As she was being pulled into the truck, Emily spoke with the Phillips siblings one last minute. Sid, Hannah, thank you for having saved me. You two were very, very brave, she wheezed due to the inflammation of her stabbed thigh. Will you be okay? Hannah sniffled, still concerned about Emily's injury. Don't worry, I'll stay in the hospital for 5 days. The doctors will take good care of me, Emily reminded with a smile and tears in her eyes. Well, we'll see you in 5 days, ma'am, Sid said, offering a handshake. Emily shook Sid's hand, as offered, before Hannah offered a hug, and the two women hugged each other before Emily got taken into the truck. Hannah wanted to cry over Emily, but Sid hugged her immediately, ruffling her hair. Hey, why the long faces? A voice spoke. This caught the siblings' attentions before they looked straight ahead and found Andy as a spirit again. Andy was smiling. He was happy to see them again. Andy? Both Hannah and Sid questioned in unison. Some doll named Jessie attacked a friend of ours recently, so we got rid of her, Sid told. Andy's smile turned into a brief stunned frown. I'll wake you two up next weekend. I've got a mystery for you. What, next weekend? Sid asked, rhetorically, before Hannah looked at him in confusion.